We're back. It's a new week. David and Dallin. Dallin's got his seats out. He wants to start working on them, getting them cleaned up so we can paint them. David pulled the clamps off his wings, and it looks like they glued up pretty good. It really looks like glued up pretty good. Just some light sanding looks like it's going to clean them up nicely.
It felt like I got some good bead coming out, like you said, try to do.
Yeah. And I don't see any grooves in there. We'll see after we sand it, and we'll take a look.
There's a little gap right here. I don't know. Is that going to be a problem?
We're probably going to have to fill that somehow. And the guns or whatever these are coming off the wings, they definitely need to be glued and clamped.
Right. So
Okay.
Okay.
What about the back edge? Oh, that came out pretty good.
Yeah. In fact, I'm liking the back edge. It looked like right here, I didn't quite line that up on the very front. There's a little lip right there.
Yep, and that's where you're going to have to do some filler and stuff. But it doesn't look like there's any panel lines near that area. There's just one, so it won't be too hard to fix.
Okay.
Okay?
Good.
Yep, and I got my stuff for my seats, so I'm going to do my seats today on this car.
Nice.
Yeah, it's...
What did you say you were doing with them? You were...
Well, I got a package from Elm City Hobbies, because I can't buy this stuff locally. Let me get it open and I'll show you. So let me set the camera down. Okay. All right, everyone, here's the parts I got for the Gremlin. I got blue flocking. I'm going to do the seats. The seats are supposed to be blue jean. And that looks like about the same color as blue jeans to me.
Yeah, it does. And so you said flocking. That's I thought of a Christmas tree flocking.
The same sort of stuff.
You're spraying your seats.
I'm going to spray my seats with paint and then put this on the seats.
Oh, wow. So it sort of makes them velvety? Or...
Yeah. And I got a distributor set for the engine.
What?
Are those the cords? Like the wires?
Yeah, those are the wires and stuff for the engine.
Oh my goodness.
So I can actually put the wires and distributors in, and I have a spark plug set left over from when I did the Honda. So these are the detail parts I'm going to use. The thing about the flocking, the stuff, there's enough here to do like 40 car models.
Oh, wow.
You just don't use much of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so for I think this was $6. It says $4.50. That's for Canadian. Because Elm City Hobbies is in Canada. But I think this was $4 or $5, and for the amount of it, I got enough to do the cars for quite some time. In blue. And the distributor is going to be the fun one because that's tiny. That's going to be the issue. All right, everyone, we're going to get busy. He's busily sanding over there. I got to get him on a better sanding routine than he's doing. So, go fill this up with some water.
Okay.
I'm going to get you some wet sandpaper, and we're going to sand that with wet sandpaper. I use this mainly for finishing. That's what's taking you so long.
Oh, okay.
So I'm thinking I should glue these guns right now and then glue together my fuselage.
Yes, go ahead and glue the guns, and then we can do the fuselage, and you can go back to working on the missiles while that's curing.
Should I just drop glue on the seam and then pinch it together?
No, I'd pinch it together, then do it, because the green glue will go through those seams regardless, whether they're pinched or not.
So I'm okay to...
Yeah.
If glue gets on this at all, is that a problem?
No, because that's vinyl.
Okay.
That glue won't affect the vinyl.
Okay.
The only problem with the glue getting on the vinyl is it will deform the surface of this, because the glue is between the vinyl, so the pressure of the surface of the clamp will imprint itself in the plastic.
Oh, because the plastic will get soft.
Yes.
Okay, I will.
So you got to be a little careful. Now, it doesn't hurt to put the glue down than the clamp. It won't hurt too much. It's just better to have it clamped first.
So I'm thinking I can do one side fine, but then the other side's all...
Yeah, if you want to put the glue down, hold it with your finger, then clamp it, and then we're good.
Okay.
All right?
So that's green?
Yeah. And I'm going to get him some wet dry sandpaper and get him wet sanding. And we use this rag to keep the mess down. Okay. Okay? So I'll be back in a bit. He's about to start wet sanding. I got him some wet dry sandpaper here. It's probably 600 grit. This is the quality stuff, not the Harbor Freight stuff. Okay? You just stick it in there. You won't hurt it by getting it wet.
Okay.
Now, by getting it wet, you're going to carry all the dirt on the paper instead of the air. And you can just dunk it in here anytime the paper starts getting fouled up. Okay. It'll sand much better than dry sanding will. Okay. Much, much better than dry sanding will.
Is that a finer grit?
It's a finer grit sandpaper than what... Actually, no, this is a finer grit. This is a finishing. Once he gets it sanded with that, then we'll hit it with this.
Oh, and that will really polish it up.
Exactly. Okay? And that's going to remove material quicker, what he's got in his hands right now. All right?
Gotcha.
And you're getting ready to do your interior. And yeah, that was something I didn't want falling over. I'll get that picked up. Okay, Dallin's done with his seams, and I'm done with the seams on my seats. Mine I'm not so worried about because I am going to put flocking over them, and plus the seam down here at the bottom is not going to really be visible. Plus, look at the massive detail on these seats. I mean, look at that. They're beautifully wrong. That's sarcasm. Can I see one of yours? I mean, oh, sorry. Look at the difference between his and mine. They are a heck of a lot prettier than mine. Okay? That's the difference between a good model kit and a cruddy one. He's got a good one. I have a cruddy one. That's a seat. That's about all you can say for it. Although, if you're building a 1/24 scale version of the Millennium Falcon, you could probably make the back seats out of this very easily. But if you're also building a 1/24 scale version of the Millennium Falcon, you've got a warehouse. So, we're not worried about that. Because that would be huge. 1/72 is in that box up there for fine molds. And, the hole fills about half that box. So, 3 times that. You'd be crazy. Anyhow, that's not what this is about. He was asking me about how do I know I'm done with my seam filling. Okay? What I was explaining to him is this, and I decided I should get the camera on this. A lot of people primer. They get some primer paint, paint it down, and then fix mistakes, spray it again with primer, fix mistakes, spray it again with primer. I don't like that because your seats have a lot of detail to them. Your car body has a lot of detail to it. Your engine has an immense amount of detail to it. The problem with this is you lose a little bit of that detail with every layer of primer. Okay? So I don't like doing it that way. When I was painting the Honda, I actually lost the door handles under too thick a paint. And when I noticed that, I stripped all the paint off and started again. And now you can see the door handles really well on that Honda. Okay? So you get the idea. You don't want a lot of paint on your bodies, on your models. Because you just can't see the detail that's there. So what I'm going to do is I would take some of this chrome silver paint. We're going to get a brush. We're going to paint it around the seam line. And it will highlight the seams. If we think the seams are perfect, we're just going to lightly sand this off. And then we won't have this chrome layer of paint on your car. And it'll act as a minor filler anyhow. A real shallow filler. So that way we're not removing the detail. Does that make sense? Yeah. So plus you can see seams really well, any imperfection in seams with the silver paint due to the reflectiveness of it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to check your seam work with some chrome silver paint. We're going to do the same thing with his wings when they're glued up and dried. So we can see any issues with it. Okay? And same thing with his plain body. Because this stuff sands off very easily. It dries within 10-20 minutes. All right? He's working on getting the body together. We'll be back in a little bit. All right, I'm about to start doing some detail painting on this guy. The starter needs to be painted in black. I can hand paint that. The oil filter in orange. I can hand paint that. What I'm going to do now is the stack at the top for the carburetors. The carburetors I'm going to paint in pale burnt metal from All-Clad. The stack is going to get painted in magnesium. And I'm chroming the tires today, the rims. So we're going to be doing some of that. I'm also painting the seats with this dark blue, hitting them with a light blue flock. That'll give me some depth to the color. And I'm going to just do some general coloration with this black stuff on the undercarriage. So I'll be back in a little bit. I'm going to use some silly putty. That's what this is masking on this engine body so I can get everything masked off the way I want it. Because I can do it really quickly with silly putty. For the job I'm doing here, it's easy enough. And then I can finish putting the engine together today. When the engine's done, the seats are done, I'm moving on to the interior pretty quickly. Back in a little bit. Look at how Dallin did with his seats. And you'll see why we did the silver paint treatment. He got it on a little thick. This is on my finger. It's my fingerprint. Anyhow, you can see from looking at this side that he didn't get the seam real well right along there. It's not too bad. A little bit of sanding when this paint cures is good. Around the top headrest, it's good. You don't see any seam marks at all. And down the side on this side's pretty good too. So this one, once that paint cures and he does a little bit of sanding, probably is going to be fine. So, looks like that one's okay. But this one, however, this side you can see the seam running right along that edge. As we rotate the seat around, though, you can really see the seam on this side. He's going to have to put more putty on this side after he sands it. Okay? But you can also see why I am doing this whole putty treatment thing. I mean, the silver paint thing. Camera's not focusing really well. It's focusing on everything but what I want it to, which doesn't help. Let's pull away. Ooh, all of a sudden it jumped in on the focus, and I don't know how that happened. I must have hit some sort of button. Oh, I found that button. Very cool.
Is that a new discovery on your camera?
Yeah,
awesome.
It's a new camera, and it's a little hard to work with sometimes because it doesn't like to zoom. Well, I figured out how to get it to zoom. Anyhow, everyone, you get the idea. It doesn't want to focus. I can't. Dallin, can you hold it right here for me while I get the focus ring and get her focused? She doesn't want to focus in tight on this. There we go. Now we got it. I have to manually focus this. You can see that seam needs some work. So this is why I do the silver paint thing. We can sand that paint off, put a little bit of putty right along there again, because he's going to have to reputty this side of it. The seam's definitely showing on that side. This side just needs some light sanding, and it's probably okay. So, not too bad. You got 3 out of the 4 on the first try.
That's good.
That's really not bad there. Okay?
Okay.
All right, I can tell I took the camera off full autofocus. Now it's on manual. All right, and David over here is about to put his fuselage together. He's dry fitting right now, testing it.
Actually, I just glued it.
Oh, he just glued it.
We're good.
We're good.
It better be good, because I'm not taking it apart. Then I'll glue this piece in there, and we're set.
And then we check the seams. Seams come up okay. We can put the wings on, but I already know he's got to do some seam work on the wings.
Yeah.
So we're going to do the seam work before we do anything. And he wasn't 100% clean with the glue, so we're going to have to learn how to clean that up.
Yeah.
This is how you learn.
Yeah.
Just like Dallin hit it with the silver paint a little too hard. It comes off. I wash. Okay? And, well, back in a minute. Okay, gremlin update. I'm working with the interior. I want to put the roll bar in the interior. It says don't put the back seat in. There's the back seat. I'm okay with that. Here's the back panel. Look at those ejector pin marks on that back panel. Not good. The interior. Can you see the ejector pin marks on this interior? Okay. They are molded into the floorboard in bad places. The ejector pin should be on this side, not this side. Okay? And I'm not even going to try to fix them. I'm just going to get the black flocking out and black flock this carpet, this whole floorboard, except for here in the pedals. And I need to mask off the sides. I'm going to glue this back panel on. I'm not going to fix it because you can't see it anyhow. So I'm just going to glue that on. Mask the sides. Mask the pedal here and this black mat here. And then paint and flock. So we'll be back in a little bit with the Honda.